Soderasens National Park with its fascinating terrain. A rather somber family trip brought me to the south of Sweden. With 72 hours to spare, I could not resist an offer to visit Soderasens National Park. This cheered me up and raised my endorphins levels. My arrival in Sweden was not glamorous, but it was fit for purpose. I had worked out that it was cheaper to get to cities south of Sweden by flying into Copenhagen, Denmark, then take the first train to Sweden. Arriving at Hässleholm, my pick from the train station by family was straightforward. It was a brilliant spring morning. We made our seamless journey home, only to get ready for the multiple hikes ahead. Sweden's countryside is gorgeous, with its amazing architecture and chalk-colored churches. It is a sparsely populated country with many people living in the big cities. Sweden is the largest country in Northern Europe, the 5th largest in Europe, and the 55th largest country in the world. It has a population of 10 million as of January 2017. The landscape in southern Sweden is predominantly flat, and I was fascinated by the elevated and rugged terrain in Soderasens National Park, which we will explore in detail in a few minutes. Much of Sweden is heavily forested, with 69% of the country being forest and woodland. On arrival to Soderasens, we were welcomed by this imposing map, which was brilliant with directions. We opted to start our hike from the lower part of the national park. However, there is another option from the top. There is a tranquil lake at the bottom, obscured by surrounding high trees on two sides, and the views were breathtaking. The hard work began once we crossed this wooden bridge over the lake. Part of me felt sorry for myself, as I was in the company of two experienced hikers. I didn't know what to expect, but I needed to have an open mind and hold myself together. Soderasens is an elongated bedrock ridge in Scania in southern Sweden. Soderasens is Scania's highest point at 212 meters or 696 feet above sea level. This is the time when rubber hits the road, a time to weed out the novice hikers and people who have trained for this. Soderasens National Park occupies an area of 6.27 square miles, and it receives around 350,000 visitors. It is located 30 kilometers east of Helsingborg in Scania. It is one of the 30 national parks Sweden has. The park has various vantage points that make it possible to have a bird's eye view. I found spring the perfect time to visit, as one is able to appreciate the terrain without the tree covers which afford a green blanket over the entire park. approaching one of the viewpoints with caution, as the path leading to it is very narrow, rough, and precarious. Not being dramatic, I had to debate whether to proceed or not, but the inquisitive boy in me won the battle this time. The views were worth the risk. Soderasens is traversed by multiple ravines. The chain extends from Rostanga in the southeast to the Astop in the northwest. I was impressed and ready to go home. However, this was the tip of the iceberg and there was more in store. The floor of the park was well lit by light due to the absent foliage. I would like to think this would be clearly different at the peak of summer. One will be blessed by a different scenery, but I was happy with this. I would highly recommend wearing the right footwear, as the landscape ahead is not forgiving. Make sure you have packed your own lunch and drinks, as I did not see any restaurants on the way. Probably my focus was elsewhere. I was reliably informed that wild boars were responsible for this mess in the ground. This could be spotted in the mornings. This part of the trail was quiet. However, we had come across various dog walkers, people jogging and walking as well. Coming up to another vantage point with the name of Liana, with breathtaking views of the ravine below and National Park rooftop. These viewpoints were a welcome and amazing distraction, as they offered natural breaks to the hike. They took one's mind off the trail. Having fed our eyes to their satisfaction, we got back to the hike, only to find a well-deserved toilet break. Various walking trails are demarcated in various colors, which include light blue, orange and yellow. This offers hikers which direction to take, as the national park has different trails. At the start of the hike, I was not privy to the above information, and as a result, I piled lots of praise to our lead hiker, not knowing that the directions were besides me along the trees. One important observation was dead or fallen trees were left to their own vice, or to be reclaimed by Mother Nature. This, in a way, allows nature to be left in its natural form, free of human interference. I bet you can appreciate the toll of the hike on the group. The above signpost clearly states the direction of different trails. The predominant flora in the forest are beech trees, oak and ash trees. Because of the rugged terrain, many features of the primeval forest have been preserved, which makes the insect life interestingly rich. Coming to the end of the hike after walking nearly 8 kilometers was not an easy task. However, it was well worth it. I walked to the edge of the rocks to steal a glance of where the journey began, or where we had been. This was not only satisfying, but it was also reassuring that I still had some go in me. The trip would not have been complete without seeing the highest viewpoint. We still had one last one to conquer, so I headed off to the finishing line. Walking on this elevated wooden platform, which seemed to be never ending, I dragged my feet to Copper Hatton viewpoint. Copper Hatton viewpoint is the highest at 660 feet. Its ravines are 300 feet deep. No wonder it has a metallic barrier with well-fitted nets, which is a sign of maximum health and safety precautions to a trained eye. I must admit, it was a nice surprise, which I least expected. Thank you for watching and your participation of the virtual hike of Soderasens National Park. I hope to see you on the next adventure. Till next time.